Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Phoenix here. Blessings to you on your path. So, I had a rather unique trading journey starting out as a stock market trader that was actually the opposite of the average trader. Most traders start out and they immediately start losing large sums of money, or they blow up multiple accounts. And then over several years, they slowly, steadily start to become profitable, consistently so. Even though there may be months where you have massive wins, that those are usually followed by massive losses. And so the losses end up sort of overtaking the wins for new traders. But for me, I started with about $70,000 in the stock market. I was focusing purely on the fundamentals of the companies, and I was also using my intuition. And actually, between those two, I didn't have much knowledge in fundamentals. I had barely any knowledge of how to read a chart, much less than I have today. And yet I was making decisions that professional traders make, and I was earning six figures a month. And this happened for quite a while. And then I had sort of that reverse experience where I ended up losing most of that. And I think back to what happened when that shift occurred, because when I started out, I was basically naive and I didn't really pay any attention to any other traders. I didn't read any other books. I was just my own unit. There was no outside influence, and I didn't have those preconceived notions that traders are just going to wreck themselves and trading is very difficult. I didn't think in those terms. And so that was one of the key distinctions that helped me starting out as a trader. Now, as soon as you start listening to people on crypto Twitter and you start paying attention to other veteran traders, you'll realize that more often than not, you end up making some really foolish mistakes, maybe a handful in particular, that can completely ruin you. And then through those mistakes, that's what it takes in order to really progress. Now, I would argue that that's not absolutely necessary if you are hyper vigilant, which most of us aren't. And I've definitely had moments where I made two decisions, for instance, last year that cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars in cryptocurrency losses. And this is not my first rodeo with cryptocurrency. And I think about what were the surrounding circumstances when I made those decisions. And that has been the strongest, most powerful lesson for me, because it's not so much about what you do, it's about how you feel while you do what you do, if that makes sense. And I think that a lot of times as traders, it's completely a head game. We know that it's a head game. And when you feel in alignment within yourself, as I was when I started out as a trader, I was meditating for multiple hours a day. I wasn't putting too much focus on trading. It wasn't a full-time thing. I wasn't taking it seriously. I was playing it as if it was a game. Okay, it wasn't a do or die scenario. It wasn't something to where I even considered it as a possibility that it could become a full-time sort of career for me. And that actually came later. And it was when I started to realize that, and I started to take myself seriously, and I started to listen to other voices. That's when I actually started to take huge losses. And I gave back most of what I made in those first several years as a stock market trader. And so cryptocurrency as we know, is extremely volatile, and it can be very risky. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can get wrecked. But I also think that there's this stigma around trading. A lot of people, even traders, believe that it's some sort of wizardry, and that there's certain people that just have this gift, and they're, usually have been doing it for 10 or 20 years or more. And until we get to that level, then we really have no right to be seriously trading. And I do agree with people who say that you shouldn't rely on trading as your primary source of income. And the reason that I say this is because when you start to do that, it immediately puts more pressure on you to make profits. And this starts to put you in situations where you begin to force trades. And we know that forcing things as a trader, trying to find a setup where there really isn't one, is one of the worst things that you can do. And instead of sitting back and letting the market dictate what you need to do next, letting the trade reveal itself. And once those trades are revealed, those are the trades that end up becoming the most profitable. Now, a few things that I want to share, some insights that continue to come up for me, because I'm not a perfect trader. And for instance, I had a great month in November where I increased my funds by 30%. But then after that, since then, I think I'm down maybe 6 or 7% since that period of time. And I've actually had, in just the last several weeks, most of my trades have been losers. But what I will say is that what shifted in me after experiencing the misalignments where I lost large sums of money after being completely aligned, I realized that I was making decisions impulsively because I had certain expectations of how much money I needed to be making in order to feel good about myself, to feel like I was making progress. And so I started to make it more of a dense reality instead of something that was fun and was something that was exciting. And that took away, by taking away all of that joy from it, which there can be joy trading and discovering these patterns, by removing the joy, I was also sabotaging myself as a trader. And I can say that there are still times when I find myself doing this. Of course, it's less and less because I've become aware of these patterns. But when I catch myself, I have to take a step back and to become loose and natural again, to be more relaxed and to maybe step back and go surfing or do something else. And that's why I'm always encouraging those of you that are full-time traders or consider yourself to be serious traders, that you don't take yourself so seriously and that you find alternate activities, you find some hobbies, like you work out. Working out, I think, is very common among elite traders, because especially when you've had a long day and you feel like you've been zapped by sitting at multiple screens, and it just gives you that reset that you need to come back fresh. And so being fresh in your mind, not forcing anything, being completely loose and natural, treating it as if it's a game, recognizing that the only real distinction between the pro traders and someone who is an amateur, it comes down to the mindset. And it's not necessarily that you need to learn a new strategy. It's not that you need to step back and sort of absorb more information, take another course. Most of the time, it's that you need to believe that you are capable of doing incredibly well as a trader, and to take it slow and to not revenge trade and try and make up for losses immediately, and to be patient and to understand that sometimes there's going to be down months. But if your trading strategy is legit, and as I teach in my course, one of my courses, if you can receive multiple, you can have multiple R multiples, if that makes sense, in your trades, then if you take some losses, you lose one R here and there, and maybe you have 3 out of 10 positive trades that are 3R trades, then you can still turn out profitable as a trader. And so that's sort of the realization that has been the most helpful for me, because I still reflect on my losses. And actually, that's why I have this trading journal here. And even though it's hard sometimes to write down the reasons for that loss and the circumstances around that, I still do it to the best of my ability. But I also recognize every time I take a loss, I try not to think in terms of numbers too much. I'll still record the loss, but I'll also think, even just one solid trade can make all of this back and then some. And I don't necessarily need to lever up, and I don't need to stray from my risk management protocol. And that's why I also stick to my trading size spreadsheet, which is offered on my website if you're interested in that. So I stick to my protocols. I have systems that work, strategies that have given me an edge, and I focus purely on the price action. And I find my levels and I see how the price is interacting at those levels. I try and keep it as simple as possible. I try and be kind to myself as much as possible. And any of those voices, those self-doubts, I sit back and I listen to them, but I don't give them too much power. So as a trader, I have days where I am massively successful, both on paper and in my mind. And then there are days where I am a miserable failure. And what I believe, I know this to be the truth, is that because of my mental training through meditation and other mindfulness practices, because of my training in strategies, I have an edge that basically guarantees that my winners are going to outweigh the losers. So just one winner can make up for 3 to 5 losers. And that mindset really gives me a sense of confidence and resiliency as I move forward as a trader. And so always looking at the bigger picture and not focusing on what just happened this morning or today, that's so important for us traders. Always being loose and natural, not taking anyone, including yourself, too seriously, maybe comparing notes with other traders, but not necessarily relying on what they say. And I think you could probably remember times when you were listening to another trader and their thesis and the trades that they were making, and it sort of contradicted what you were feeling, but you went with it anyways, and it turned out that you were wrong. And the lesson is, of course, to trust your gut, follow your intuition. Sometimes you will be wrong and the other trader will be right, but I think on the whole, unless you feel in full agreement with that trader, then you shouldn't follow what they're doing. And this includes myself. For those of you that follow me as a trader, I'm just here just as a general guide and sharing whatever I can in the hopes that you will profit from it. So even though I lost nearly everything with just a handful of decisions, after several years of being profitable as a stock market trader, I lost a lot of that in cryptocurrency. But I also had the mindset that even though I lost this money, I can easily make it back, because once you've done it once, you can do it again. And even if you haven't done it yet, you haven't been profitable yet, see the possibility. Always be in possibility, and always recognize that whatever you see in another trader, no matter how long they've been doing it for, no matter how arrogant they are, which, let's face it, a lot of the pro traders out there that are public about it are pretty arrogant, you can still get to that level and not be arrogant and stay humble, and maybe share some of that wisdom with other people as well so that they benefit. And so I think that trading can be a very rewarding experience. It's definitely not for everyone, but I think that it's very useful to train our mental constitution to be able to handle the ups and downs, because it's actually training for real life. With trading, if you make a mistake, you don't get a chance to redo that. You lose that money, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's kind of like chess. It really teaches you how to be a man. Resiliency, patience, and humility are the top 3 qualities that any trader can have, in my humble opinion. And these are qualities that will help us in every aspect of our lives. And you can use trading as a stepping stone to lead a more spiritual, fulfilling life. If you're able to keep yourself in balance and in alignment, and if not, then it's just a sign from your spirit that something needs to shift. And sometimes that means taking a break, and sometimes that means trying something new to help you to become more at ease within yourself. More often than not, it's not so much about adding more information and more strategies. It's about how you feel about yourself. And so the self-talk is so important. And even if you need to get up in front of the mirror in the morning before you make any trades and tell yourself, you've got this, this is going to be a good day. Even if maybe you don't believe it right away, if you start saying that every day, it will help you as a trader. So I hope that this was helpful for you. Hang in there for those of you that maybe did lose a lot of money for various reasons. I know there were so many black swan events in the last year with cryptocurrency, but there's always a silver lining. There's always lessons to be learned. And then the next time around, the way I see it is that next time I have the opportunity to make these same decisions or similar decisions, I will actually have more money at stake, more to work with. And so when I have $100 million to be trading, I'll be able to make the decisions that I couldn't make when I only had, say, a couple $100,000. And that's really the mindset going in, is just having the goal of being a profitable trader, but not being so fixated on that and having that expectation and being impatient and thinking that it needs to happen right away. And if you're just loose and natural and you're just accepting and receptive of what wants to step into your life, and receiving the trades as they're presented to you, then it will be much easier. It will be a smoother journey for you. So I hope that you found this video useful. I would love to hear your insights for those of you that are traders. And this is also just general life knowledge. So please feel free to share your feedback in the comments below, and like it if you enjoyed the video. If you want to learn more about crypto and you want to see all my content, check out my website. And I also have a book out on Amazon, and there are links to all of that in the description below. Have a beautiful rest of your day.